What's up, guys? So basically, let's say you've only got 1 hour to train per week, right? Is that enough to satisfy some basic requirements that you can actually gain some progress in? So I think the answer is yes. Now, I've come up with this particular program. I've called it No Time to Train. This is version 2. I'll post version 1 in a little bit. Basically, guys, what we've got here is loosely based on the conjugate system without actually changing the variety of the movements. Now, I know that sounds a little bit wild because variation is really important when you're on conjugate, but this is more of a beginner to intermediate kind of program. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, if you're a super fresh 100% vanilla beginner, do not follow this program because you don't have enough exposure to repetition, okay? You don't have enough volume. More often than not, you might not even have enough muscle mass to follow this program. So you've kind of been strength training a little bit. You might have maybe 1 to 2 years of, you know, good progress. Okay, you're somewhat strong already, but maybe you're time poor now, right? You don't have a whole lot of time to actually dedicate towards weight training. So the two 30-minute sessions we've got here, I'll run through it. You need to move fast, okay, and that means that you're not going to warm up like an idiot on a foam roller for half an hour, foam rolling every single part of your body. And honestly, if you are still doing that in 2026, what's wrong with you? Okay, keep it short and sweet. All right. If you have time, maybe later on after the workout or in the week, maybe when you're at home to go through some prehab, rehab stuff, I'm always going to encourage it. I'm not knocking it. Okay. But your time pressed. Okay. We need to maximize this 30 minutes. So starting off with workout number 1, we've got the dynamic effort Zercher rack pull. So dynamic effort, we're trying to move things rapidly. Okay. We're trying to move things fast. The reason why I chose the Zercher rack pull is because the technique on this is kind of between a squat, kind of between a deadlift. Okay, you're not going to be hinged over completely. You're kind of doing almost like an Anderson squat, bottoms up, lifting it. Okay, so we've got 8x2 ETOT. So ETOT being every 30 seconds on 30 seconds. Okay, now that's going to be 80% of what you would have done the previous week, or if you chose to flip the workouts and did this one at the end of week number 1, whatever you did for your max effort. So say for example, you got 100 kilos for 1, okay? In this workout over here, you're going to be doing 80 kilos for 8 doubles. That's only going to take you 4 minutes, okay? So the time required to do this in, 6-minute warm up, okay? 4 minutes of total work time, 2 minutes to pack up, so 12 minutes in total. After that, we're going to max out the floor rack press. So why did I choose the Zercher rack pull and the dead stop floor press, okay, from the rack? You don't need a spotter for either of those, okay? They're very minimally invasive, right? As far as how much, training partners or people do you need around you, you can do this at home if you have access to a power rack. There's not a lot of prerequisites you need to do it. You just crawl underneath of it, you press it away from you. You crawl underneath of it, you lift it up for the Zercher, right? So what you're going to aim for is you want to do a max effort. You've got 11 minutes to perform the max effort movement in that time slot there, okay? Every single time you come back to this, your goal is to go up by 2.5 kilos or 5 pounds, okay? Now, I'll get to what happens because no doubt you can't just keep adding weight, all right? You'll hit a plateau inevitably. So after that, so what are we up to? It's 12 minutes, 11 minutes, what is that? That's 23 minutes, okay? 2 minutes off, you've packed it all up, head over to the chin-up bar and start repping out some chin-ups, okay? So your goal is to get as many reps in 5 minutes as you possibly can. Now, every single time that you cycle back to this, your goal is to try and aim for 1 more repetition within that time slot. This is a very slow burn method, okay? You won't get results crazy fast. You might even regress in some weeks, but more often than not over time, what will happen is, yes, you will do more chin-ups within the 5-minute time period. So we've flipped it into work 2. We start off with the max effort Zercher rack pull. Once again, you want to aim for 2.5 kilo gain every single time that you come in. And I'll get to what happens when you hit a plateau. That's going to take you 11 minutes. If it's taking you half an hour to work up to a max, I mean, you're really dragging your feet. You need to be working a lot faster. Okay. Floor rack press dynamic effort. Okay, so you're going to do 8 doubles. That's going to take you the 4 minutes. Okay, every 30 seconds on 30 seconds. That's going to be 80% of whatever you maxed out with on workout number 1's weight. Okay, so once again, that's a 12-minute time period to do that in. You've got 6 minutes to warm up, okay, to 80%. you've got 4 minutes of working out time, then you've got 2 minutes to pack it up. Okay, now landmine rotation, what you're going to do, take 30% of your body weight. You've got another 5-minute AMRAP for the GPP. Okay, so that's going to take you about 7 minutes, right? Set it up, chuck your plates on, okay, and get moving within that 5 minutes. Record what you do every single session, guys, and then you're going to obviously try and improve on the progressions that I've located here. So let's look at some key takeaway points. We've got 2 30-minute sessions a week. Okay, that's 1 hour total per week. Some people do that per day, okay, but if you're not one of those people, this should be enough to satisfy some sort of strength gain, some sort of, muscular endurance and conditioning, right? The variations I've chosen, they're supra maximal, meaning that you can lift more than what you normally would because they're kind of these partial movements off of the rack, right? No spotter is required for these. Like I said, minimal effort to really set up. You just crawl underneath of it, push it away from you, or lift it up. One of the pros, I think, of this program is it's a case-by-case basis based on the week. So, you're going to have a constant assessment of where you're at. And even if you've had time off training, you're able to jump straight in and get to work on something because it's just based upon how strong are you in that particular week, okay? Like I said, constant calculation of where you're currently at. So the weights are not like a goal 10 weeks into the future or anything like that. You can set some mini goals here and there, but what you're really trying to do is just where are you at right now, and you're trying to perform within your boundaries and your limitations within that particular week or fortnight, okay? Plateau is inevitable. It's going to happen. When it happens, I want you to decrease that particular lift, whether it be the floor press or the rack pull, by 10%, okay? And then you're going to rebuild from there. Not after 3 sessions, you don't get it, but as soon as it happens, let's say you failed 102.5, okay, 10% reduction, you're going to go and start to rebuild from there. So the pros and the cons, it's not a perfect program. There's not much hypertrophy in the actual system itself, guys. So it's kind of unbalanced as well. Like, usually a program would have a squat, bench press, or deadlift variation, or, some sort of progression between upper body push and upper body pull, right? It's not perfect, but that's where you're able to dedicate a little bit more time at home to some sort of mobility and rehab kind of things. It's not really appropriate for beginners as well. Like, as a beginner, you need to be exposed to getting more repetitions in and getting more volume in, okay? You need to develop your technique, and that takes quite a lot of time and quite a lot of effort, okay? So you've already maybe gone through that stage and maybe now have a busy job, or maybe your sport requires you to spend more time really doing the sport itself, and you need to just maintain and sort of gain strength slowly in the background. This is really who it's ideal for, right? Like I said, you've kind of moved past that total beginner phase, and you've moved now onto what I'd call this almost transition phase between sort of beginner, intermediate. This will work for intermediate too, by the way, and maybe even for some advanced, but I'll get to that at a later point. So of course the pros are, you'll get stronger, you'll get more explosive because of the dynamic effort, and it's very time efficient for busy trainees. So can you get stronger within 1 hour per week? Yes, I do believe so. If you followed something like this, I think that you could actually build a little bit of muscle and build definitely a lot of dead stop strength, because like I said, all of this is done concentric based only. So let me know what your thoughts are on this. I think that this could work, even if it's done for a short period of time.